Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our meeting regarding the tactical bus lanes demonstration project on Silver Hill Road. We'll give some folks just a minute to get into the meeting, and we'll go ahead and get started in just a few minutes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name's Kelly Stoll. I'll be your facilitator for the evening. I work with Metro on these tactical bus lane projects. And we're going to go through a couple housekeeping items before we get started. So, all right. We're using GoToWebinar tonight, so it's a little different than maybe what you're used to in, say, Zoom or Teams. You'll notice everyone is muted, and you'll have an opportunity to ask questions at the end of the meeting. If you would like during the meeting and you have a question as we go through the slides, feel free to type it in the question box or in the chat box. And then once we get to the end of the meeting, we will, if you'd like to use the raise hand function, we'll go ahead and call you in the order in which you raise your hand. And you can see here on the screen, we've got a little photo of how that works. And we will jump to the next slide. Oops. My mouse is not cooperating, so give me just 1 second. There we go. Apologies, everybody. There we go. All right, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to one of my Metro colleagues, Anna Quince. All yours.
Great, thanks, Kelly. So for our safety moment before we start the presentation, we want to just highlight the requesting a courtesy stop. It's a new initiative that Metro instituted recently, where Metrobus riders can request to be stopped off between bus stops if the bus driver deems it to be safe to do so. So this works in a way that it definitely helps our riders and customers feel more safe. If there's a place where it's more well lit, if there's better crossing infrastructure, you can definitely request the bus operator let you stop there versus a location where there isn't as much lighting or a safe area for you to cross the street and get to your destination. Some other housekeeping items we have for today. Definitely type your questions in the chat during the presentation. We're going to make a really good effort to respond to all the questions, but we want to get through the slides first before we do that. And also, if you want to have regular updates or get connected to the bus priority team in general, you can send questions to buspriority@omada.com. Next slide. All right, good evening. I'm Annie-Quince Ogwe, the project manager on Metro's bus priority team. We are here to discuss the Tactical Bus Lanes project, which proposes quick build bus-only lanes on Silver Hill Road between the Suitland Metro Station and West Avenue. Metro operates a number of high ridership bus routes on this corridor with over 12,000 riders a day. These routes also provide access to jobs and opportunities in the greater Washington region by connecting the Suitland Metro Rail Station on the Green Line. At tonight's meeting, we will discuss the project goals and objectives, project details, updates since our prior outreach, schedule, and next steps. Importantly, the project is a partnership between Metro, Maryland State Highway Administration, and Prince George's County Department of Public Works and Transportation. So with that, I'd like to introduce our state and county project partners on the project. We have Joe Mogus, Senior Safety Officer from Maryland State Highway Administration. And we also have Ifan Aponte, Chief of Innovation and Planning from Prince George's County Department of Public Works and Transportation. Thanks, Ifan. So buses have historically been among the most overlooked solutions for reducing congestion and mitigating climate change. Even a diesel bus with 40 passengers does a lot more to reduce greenhouse gases than 40 cars in that same space. With that in mind, in 2020, Metro completed the Bus Transformation Project, which identified several strategies for prioritizing bus. These are all included within our Better Bus initiative. In addition to bus priority, the Better Bus initiative also includes the bus network redesign, battery electric buses, and facilities modernization and improved amenities and customer information. This evening, we're excited to provide updates on the Silver Hill Road Bus Lanes project. Next slide. So the Tactical Bus Lanes project has three main goals and objectives. First is to improve Metrobus service, on-time performance, and reliability. The project will also accelerate implementation of bus rapid transit corridors in Prince George's County. And last but not least, the project will help build a stronger partnership between Metro and Maryland jurisdictions in providing frequent and reliable regional transit connections. Next slide. Since the summer of 2021, Metro has developed a really strong partnership with our colleagues at Prince George's County and Maryland State Highway Administration. Our initial work involved looking at numerous bus corridors in the county to identify congested areas that would benefit from bus lanes and bus priority treatments. The Silver Hill Road corridor rose to the top as the first corridor among others being studied by the county. Now I'll turn it over to Ifan to share how this project relates to Prince George's County's broader vision for transit transformation.
Thank you, Anna Quincy and the team. This project relates to the county's current effort to improve transit reliability across the county and also to promote accessibility and mobility throughout the county by making buses faster. The county currently is undergoing, conducting a couple of studies to improve transit in the county. So we have an initiative which is called the Transit Transformation Initiative that is comprised of 4 key priorities. One is transit forward, which is addressing issues of service reliability, safety, as well as connectivity throughout the county. The second aspect of this is our transit vision plan, which the goal is to come up with policy and suggestions on how we want to improve transit for the next 5 years, the short-term transit vision or transit implementation plan. The third initiative is our zero emissions bus transition, where the county is transitioning our diesel buses and buying and putting more zero emission buses on the street to help with air quality, reduce CO2, and fight climate change as it impacts a lot of folks in the county. And then the last initiative is service changes, where we're making those adjustments on a periodic basis to improve transit reliability, address issues of equity and inaccessibility throughout the county, and also working with the different communities across the county to define and address issues with our current bus system. Next slide, please. I just want to talk a little bit more about our transit vision plan, which is the process where we gather information from the public, we look at our current transit services, and then we look at opportunities to improve transit services throughout the county. I want to ask that for those who are also looking into this project as part of the overall strategy to improve transit in the county, please feel free to provide suggestions and comments about our transit vision plan, as this is the first project in the county that is going to help to improve reliability and high capacity transit. But the county have a bigger goal into the future of transit. We're looking at opportunities in other areas. We're also looking at ways where we engage in the community to provide comments, so that as we implement the tactical bus lane project in Silver Hill Road, we can take the lessons learned from Silver Hill Road and apply it in other areas in the county. I'll pass it over to Anakweze. Thank you. Anakweze, I think my slides, I'm done with my slides.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and continue with the slides while we wait for Anakweze to come back. Why do we need bus lanes on Silver Hill Road? The reason why is to improve bus performance. With enforcement, and dedicated bus lanes can save up to 7 to 30% on trips along the corridor. Queue jumps also help reduce bus delays, and we'll show you an example of that later in the presentation. They're cost effective and easy to implement with the right-of-ways, and they offer increased safety because we are no longer having to avoid cars parked in the bus lanes and try to pick up folks who may need assistance. They reduce traffic congestion, and they help meet regional climate goals. So we'll use these to put the red paint down, to create the bus lanes, and bus riders will see the benefits very quickly. Anakweze, I see you're back, so I will let you take back over.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Internet is back now.
Yeah, I kind of went through most of the slides, so I will hand it back off to you.
Great, thanks, Kelly. You can go to the next slide. Oh, Kelly, I don't see the slides anymore.
This talks about the goals, the introduction and goals of the bus lanes.
I think you stopped sharing screen.
We can't see the slides. Okay.
My apologies.
No, it's fine.
I went to click off my camera and I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry.
Thanks for bearing with us, everyone. Great. So slow buses discourage use. The speed limit on Silver Hill Road is 35 miles per hour. In comparison, bus speeds hover somewhere in the 10-mile-per-hour range. So the impact of this is that slow buses hurt the folks who rely on it the most to get around to work, school, medical appointments, and other everyday activities. And often these are people of color and folks who identify as belonging to low-income households. Okay, I know everyone is ready for a quick break right now and loosen up for a question. So we actually have, I want to give you a moment to just digest everything and we're going to shift toward a poll about the things that Metro, MDOT, and Prince George's County should do to make this project successful. So you can pick your top 3 items that would apply. Buses are on time more often, buses that arrive more frequently, bus lanes that are enforced, educating road users, so drivers, pedestrians, and bicyclists, or outreach to businesses and delivery companies. And just to note that all the organizers and panelists from agencies in the presentation, we're not voting on this poll question.
All right, I'm going to close the poll. So get your votes in here in the next 10 seconds. All right.
So the results of the poll show that 90% of the participants who responded believe that educating road users, so drivers, pedestrians, and bicyclists, is the most important thing that Metro, MDOT, and Prince George's County DPW&T should prioritize for this project. Coming in a second place is enforcement. So a lot of folks, 60%, believe that bus lanes that are enforced will be a really good aspect of making this project successful. And then rounding out the last 3 responses, 50% of folks feel that, or 50% of the respondents chose bus lanes that arrive more frequently as a top consideration, and then outreach to businesses and delivery companies and buses being on time more often were tied at 20%. So great, thanks for that feedback. And it does track with our approach as well in terms of working together among agencies to make sure that the project is successful. So we'll make sure to keep that feedback in mind. All right, so the Silver Hill Road bus lanes are approximately 1 mile long from the west at Suitland Metro Rail Station to, so that's actually 1 block before Pennsylvania Avenue. The map basically lays that out, and the project is also more than just bus lanes. So we focus on that a lot, but there are 3 amenities or bus preferential treatments that I'll share at a later slide that do provide additional benefits for buses and customers along this corridor. Next slide. So the bus lane hours will be 24/7 bus lanes in both directions. So the curbside lane is being repurposed to a bus lane, and it will function in that way 24 hours per day, 7 days a week. And as it stands today, no parking is allowed or loading is allowed on Silver Hill Road, and that will remain in effect when the bus lanes are operational. I do want to note that there are exceptions where vehicles need to make right turns at intersections. The bus lane has hatched markings where it allows drivers to make right turns in the bus lane before the intersection. Next slide. So as I mentioned before, this project is more than just bus lanes. It also includes other tools to keep buses moving in places where there aren't bus lanes. So the first location that we'll discuss here is at Iverson Street and 23rd Parkway. At that location, a westbound queue jump is included in the project. And if you look at this graphic on the lower left of the screen, it basically describes like what a queue jump is. Essentially, when a bus is servicing a stop at the near side, a queue jump is a signal that's only for the bus that allows the bus to get a head start before the traffic in the adjacent travel lanes. So if you're looking on the screen, you can see the green line is showing the path of the bus, and then as it reaches the signal, it will get a queue jump signal for the bus on its own, and then it'll advance before other vehicles. The second bus preferential treatment is at Marlboro Pike from Old Silver Hill Road to County Road. This is what we're calling a southbound median bus lane bypass, and essentially it repurposes the median in that segment of the project as a bus-only lane that buses can use to make a left turn before they head north to the Addison Road Seat Pleasant Metro Station. That's typically the P12 and the V12 that make that movement. And then the third location is Addison Road South at Seat Pleasant Metro Rail Station. So this is westbound signal timing modification, and it's a really simple but impactful improvement in that it provides a few more seconds for buses to get out of the metro station there. So that metro station serves the blue line and the silver line, and a lot of customers, as they're going on their way on the bus, they'll have an opportunity to have more buses get out at that station more quickly. Next slide. Since our last update, we made a few revisions to the design, but in general, most of the project remains intact as we presented it previously. So the first is the westbound bus lane begins after West Avenue, and this eases the transition of traffic from Pennsylvania Avenue or Maryland 4. So if everyone knows, in this area of Prince George's County, Pennsylvania Avenue and Silver Hill Road are really highly used roads for a lot of traffic, and we felt that giving people a little bit more time to transition into the bus lane made sense and will help with people who are trying to access the shopping center at that intersection as well. We also coordinated, well, go back to this slide before, sorry. We've also coordinated our design schedules with Maryland State Highway Administration and the Town Square at Suitland Federal Center development. As our engagement continued last year, we coordinated with Town Square at Suitland Federal Center just to make sure that our project and that project were coordinating and making sure that all our design elements were in sync and that we weren't stepping on each other's toes. And as part of our partnership on this project, Metro is completing the design and Maryland State Highway Administration will be administering implementation of the project. So for more details on that, I'll pass it to Joe Mogus from Maryland State Highway Administration. And you can go to the next slide.
Thanks, Anaquenze. Again, my name is Joseph Mogus, Senior Safety Officer with the Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration. In this slide, I just wanted to go over the implementation approach where SHA will be playing a key role. Just going to read through these details here. WMATA, MDOT, Prince George's County Department of Public Works and Transportation, as well as Montgomery County Department of Transportation, working collaboratively to develop an implementation framework for tactical bus lanes, including funding, operational and maintenance requirements as well. Maryland State Highway Administration will be generally administering the implementation of the project, overseeing construction, maintenance activities, as well as maintenance activities in coordination with WMATA and the counties. The partners will be further refining the funding and implementation strategy in the weeks ahead. Next slide, please. This slide, you'll see a project schedule. As you can see, this is still pending construction funding. Let's go over this schedule in chronological order or from left to right. In the fall or winter of 2024, we intend to prepare contracting documents for procurement. In the winter or spring of 2025, we intend to award the contract. Later in spring, summer 2025, we intend to, we have a target implementation date Following that, WMATA, in partnership with SHA, Prince George's County, and MCDOT, will conduct performance evaluations and document various measures of effectiveness. With that, I'll pass it to Kelly.
All right, everybody. I see we have some questions in the chat, so I'm going to take those. There are a couple about asking if the presentation and the materials will be available with a broader audience and with participants. And yes, we will put a copy of the slides and a recording of the presentation up on the WMATA project website. And we're going to show you that website here in just a few moments. Somebody is also very excited about 24-hour bus lanes. And there's a request of us to do a separate presentation for staff, students, leaders, SGA, class officers at Suitland High School. So if you would like to reach out to us via the email that we shared at the beginning, or we can certainly get in contact with you and look into that as well. Is there anybody that has any questions that would like to unmute themselves and ask, or I'm just scrolling through here on the side?
There's another question in the chat, Kelly.
Okay. What kinds of discussions will be had or have been or have happened with businesses and property owners along Silver Hill Road and with regard to the disruption for driveways onto the road? Quincy?
So part of our planning process involved identifying various driveways on the project for turning movements. We have not had specific conversations or coordination with business owners at specific locations, but if there are any that you suggest we reach out to, please let us know, and we'll look into that coordination.
And another question.
Oh, go ahead.
On how the bus lanes will be enforced.
So I'll speak to this and maybe defer to MDOT, SHA, and the county, but currently bus lane enforcement would be conducted by local law enforcement at various locations. At this time, we do not have an automated way to conduct bus lane enforcement yet, but it's something that Metro and MDOT and Prince George's County are coordinating on to enable that in the future, hopefully in the near future. And I'll pass it to Joe or Yvonne if you have any other items you wanted to discuss related to that question.
And of course, what I'll say is that we're still working on policy initiatives on how we can best enforce bus lanes violations, on how everything is going to be framed. So at this time, it is still something that we're working on a policy. We're working on a concept, and we're hoping that by the time we're done with construction of this project, we'll have a good framework on how to enforce bus lanes.
Okay. And again, I'll note that all of the materials will be available on the project website, which is there at the bottom of your screen, so that folks can access those. Are there any other questions? Let's see. This plan is to lower bus trip times. What consideration has been given to the effect of the bus plan, of this plan on trip times for non-buses? It already takes a long time to get through Silver Hill Road during the evening. This will undoubtedly make it worse. Anna Quince?
That's a great question. So as part of our project in coordination with MDOT SHA and Prince George's County, we did conduct a traffic analysis along the bus lane corridor, and we compared the existing condition of the roadway to a condition where bus lanes are implemented. And our traffic analysis found that the impact to traffic was marginal and not really impactful. And we've also included several mitigations at different intersections to adjust the traffic signal timing to allow for a better flow of traffic and vehicles in coordination with the bus lanes. So we've definitely looked at it, and we wouldn't be able to make it this far in the project without that kind of analysis. So I feel like we are on our way to addressing those items as we move toward implementation. And I just also wanted to note that, as Joe mentioned previously, there will be a performance evaluation after implementation conducted by Metro in partnership with our state and county partners, so that we'll be able to look at the conditions after bus lanes are implemented to confirm, like, is traffic improving, is bus travel time improving, and are the different measures of effectiveness of getting better. And we'll be able to make adjustments as needed if we do need to, if we see any issues.
All right. Any other questions? Any follow-ups? All right.
I did see a question, Kelly. Someone asked, can materials be sent to the Civic Association, or can we get a speaker? I think this question is from George Hanna at the Hillcrest Marlow Heights Civic Association. We can look into coming to one of your meetings potentially and providing more information about the project. We did share update on this project last year at one of the Hillcrest Marlow Heights Civic Association meetings, so we'd be glad to come back and present more about the project.
Okay. Well, we'll stay on the call for a few more minutes, but I think this is the conclusion of our call. If no one has any other questions, we thank you for attending. And based on your registration, we have your email, so we will go ahead and send out future notices on the call, or I'm sorry, on the project. But if you have any other questions about the project in the interim, these are your contacts here, and the project website will update that here in the coming weeks with the materials. And we appreciate your attendance.
Kelly, if you don't mind, I just want to see if anyone in the audience has questions about a specific intersection, or if they want to see a little bit more about what the bus lanes would look like. We can share those materials as well if anyone wants to see them.
Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and end the call. Once again, all of your contact information, or all of the contact information for our subject matter experts, is up on your screen. So feel free to reach out to any of us, or as I mentioned, visit the project websites for the materials. And like I said, we'll get that up in the next day or two. If you have any other further questions, again, please feel free to contact us. And thanks again for attending.